I'm like a SZA fanatic.
Oh,
and the new album.
And this new album, let's...
We gotta say it for the end. On repeat.
Really?
Like I
Really?
The way, the rhythm.
This
and
is
the
why
flow.
I turn my volume down.
Yeah,
I'm just screaming.
You're like screaming. You have to.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Turning Coal into Diamonds. Shout out to all my diamonds out there. Love you. So excited for this episode. So excited to be back in the podcast game. And yeah, it just feels really good to be back on with you guys. But before I jump into this episode, a huge thank you and shout out to our sponsors, Catan. Literally one of the best board games I've ever played. It's such an addiction. It's great for ages 12 and up. The game is completely variable, so it's always changing. You never get bored. You don't play the same game twice. It's great for families, for the homies, a good wine and game night moment, whatever that is for you, you won't regret it. So make sure you go to catanshop.com/TCID for 10% off the base game. Like I said, you won't regret it. Period. I guess that's what all the kids are saying now is period, and I'm on it. But I'm super excited, like I said, for this episode. We have a very, very special guest. Not many of my guests can say that they've been on my podcast twice, but this person has. You may recognize her from our episode, Turning Coal into Cannabis. It was such a fun episode, but she is a singer, a songwriter. She goes by the artist name Nobodi. I'm super excited to have Nobodi today to talk about how her name came about, because Nobodi is so dope. The concept of it and just what she brings to her artistry is amazing. She just released a new song called The Method, which is also amazing.
Hi, I'm Nobodi. I'm here to remind you that all those nasty thoughts inside your head aren't true.
Remember, the only way out is through.
I'm tired of getting in the fights with my ceiling. The back and forth and the degrees was keeping me from healing. The left side of my brain is getting less and less appealing. It's just the feeding the idea that we got anything to heal for.
So we'll get a little sneak peek at that. You guys make sure to go follow, subscribe, download, all of the above, because it is such a great song and has such a beautiful message that we're going to talk about today. So every episode for this new season, I'm going to be doing a poem at the beginning. And so I read this poem, and I went through a few. They're all about diamonds in some sort of fashion. Each one's going to be. But I'm choosing ones that I feel like fit my guest. So
don't mess it up.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with the poem. So today's poem is Diamonds by Ingrid Goff Madoff. What if recognizing diamonds was enough to make them yours, and you saw them now everywhere? On the sunlit ocean, on the moonless sky, on winter fields, in the tips of branches after rain, in smiling faces, the brook, the lake, the stream, the kitchen stove, stairs, puddles, ice, and clouds. And what if wherever life glimmers and lights and glints, you see diamonds? Kiss, belly laughs, bubbly wine, decay, and crumbs. Flights of fancy feathers, teeth, words, and breath. Diamonds. Diamonds, all diamonds. Would you see then, in truth, the very richest that you are? Diamonds.
That was good.
I really like that one.
That was so emotional. Getting into, when you said, what did you say, decay and crumbs?
Yes.
I'm like,
right?
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, because then it's like, it's everything.
Really?
It's like the bad time is the diamonds. The
Totally.
death is the diamond.
Totally.
The good time is the diamond. It's a cycle, baby.
It is, really.
The bad brings the good.
Totally.
So is the bad even bad?
Is it?
I guess not. I guess it's not. I guess it's diamonds.
Yeah. Well, that's, when I read this, too, I really love that I'm starting with this one, because it really is the turning coal into diamonds moment, I feel like, in the sense of, Because I think, like, a lot of people, especially when I started the podcast and things like that, it's really about, like, they just think, like, diamonds are so easy. Like, it just, like, the goal and the mindset of turning coal into diamonds isn't supposed to that it's going to be easy.
Right.
But it's like, it's the mindset and the push to get through things that creates the diamonds. Like, life is gonna life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
life
just...
is life!
That's
make
just
a shirt.
true, really,
it's all
right?
It. Life is gonna life.
I should make this
You
shirt.
should. You know, I think the last time I was here, we had a million
couple
shirts. What are we doing this? We have a whole business. We could be manufacturing this.
Totally.
We're making so much money.
But today's episode, we have a really good friend of mine, a very talented artist as well. Voice of an angel, Nobodi. Nobody.
I'm nobody. It's
You
so
are
real.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
What, like, I have a few questions before well, tell me what you think about the poem. You kind of already did, but, like, do you have any other thoughts?
It's got to go, I mean, like, using coal. It's got to be, you know, something, you're like getting ready to be something. Yeah. And you know that you have the potential. Yes. You have this potential to be this, but you feel not that. It's almost like imposter syndrome. Like, you don't believe yourself until you start adding that. You start adding the work, and you start adding the pressure, and you start adding the... And then you're like, oh, I shouldn't be pressuring myself so much. But then by the time you believe that, you're like, oh, wait, I'm already shiny. I did it.
Facts.
Life is lifing.
The last part, too, after all of those things, it says, would you see then in truth the very richness that is you, or that you are, diamonds? And so, like, that's even, like, to me, kind of, like, because we all have those moments of doubt, those moments of, like, what did I just say? What did I just do? Whatever. Like, what's going on in my life or whatever. But that doesn't mean that you're still not a diamond in that moment, you know, like, because I feel like one of the things I got from another podcast a long time ago is, like, if you are so filled with love within yourself, you're never absent of love. And that's kind of what I get from this. It's like, you're never absent of that diamond when you realize, like, you just are innately that diamond. You know what I mean? Right? Is that kind of crazy?
No, I love that even more. But that is what it is. Like, the idea that you have moments of feeling like coal. Mm-hmm. Totally. You're a diamond the whole time.
Always.
You've been a diamond the whole time.
Come on.
Yeah. Come on. Say it louder. Say it louder.
Yes.
But you're right. That's what it is.
Yes. So, what I was going to say earlier is what inspired Nobodi, because I kind of know a little bit of this backstory, but, like, obviously some of the people don't, but, like, I feel like it's such a great concept. It's a concept. For sure. It's a concept, yes.
What inspired Nobodi? Man, years inspired Nobodi. To put it bluntly and plainly, I would say that I used to go by the artist name Sammy Joe, which was a nickname that my sister gave me growing up. My name is Samantha Josephine. Middle name is Josephine. My sister would call me Sammy Joe growing up, and I couldn't think of anything to call myself. You know, I went to school, I went to college for music, and so that was the artist name that I used in college, and even when I first moved out to LA, that's what it was, and it didn't really align with me as an artist. The name didn't really align with me as an artist. I think I love all kinds of music, but, you know, Sammy Joe, there was something a little too cute about it, a little too maybe even country about it, a little too. So people were kind of confused, you know, when I had the name, like what kind of music you put off. And I feel like in college that was a really big thing for me. It was always, you know, I did a lot of classes, and I had the opportunity to work with Gerard, who is she did a boot camp class at the college that I went to, and I learned so much in that class. I got to work with really cool people, and one of the things that she always talked about, first let's say Gerard she's a songwriter. She's a hit songwriter. She's written for tons of people. She she owns a publishing company in LA, and she also she was a judge on American Idol for a hot minute when Paula Abdul left. She was the woman that replaced it for a couple of years.
I feel like I heard the name, but
so these are her credentials. And, like, some people know the backstory. But one of the things that she always used to talk to me about was what you know, what's your thing? Like, who are you? Who are you? Like, what's your image? What's your deal? And I always used to be like, I I got no idea. I'm like, what is that? This is it.
Yeah. Sammy Joe.
Like, I was like, I guess I'll go by Sammy Joe. Like, that'll be the name. But it never really aligned. It never really felt like anything. And, but she did always give me great advice. And her advice to me was always to be unapologetically myself. She said that the thing that I had going for me was that, the thing that made me badass, I'll never forget this. She said this to me in class. She was like, the thing that makes Sammy Joe badass is the fact that she's really open about her vulnerability. And that made me feel fantastic. I was like, okay, cool. So just like keep being upset. keep being upset. Keep being bummed out.
Yeah.
Like, really roll with that. Like really roll with that. That's your thing. Fast forward a couple of years, I put one song out under Sammy Joe. It was a ballad called Jekyll and Hyde, and it did like okay. Like I didn't really push for it. It's still out. So if you guys want to listen to it, it's around.
Come on.
It's around. But I think like almost every great story that we're hearing lately, it all starts with COVID. Everything starts with COVID, right? It was a big transition for everybody.
For sure.
And I think that a lot of people were finding their way, or even realizing that they didn't know their way the whole time. And they thought that they knew their way, and that was me. I thought I had my way. I thought that I knew what it was that I was going for, what I wanted to sound like, what I wanted to make out of Sammy Joe or whatever that was. And there was a lot of spirituality. A lot of spirituality got involved. A lot of fantastic talks. You know, I was immersing myself in Sadhguru and Alan Watts and Ram Dass and all the big names. You know, all the people that looked at the bigger picture of things. And one of the things that Ram Dass was talking about was he had said he had a whole it was like a whole talk that I found on YouTube. I was like just listening through him. And one of the things that he said was, if you're nobody, you're free to be anybody. Yes. And he's like, if you're nothing, you're free to be anything. If you're nobody, you're free to be anybody. Yes. And it clicked for me. And I don't know if it's because I'm an Aquarius and I don't like to. And all my zodiac, all my astrology girlies are going to be like, that makes it that adds up. And maybe it does. I'm fine with that. But I think that the idea of identifying was causing me a lot of suffering. The idea of identifying as I'm Sam and I do this and this is what I'm like and this is this, because it was almost like I was what's the word, like I guess like reinforcing is the word I'm looking for. I was reinforcing a narrative that was holding me in a box. I was reinforcing that this is what I am and I've got to continue to be this way. I have to continue to make music like this. You know, I had been compared to a lot of incredible artists. Like I feel very blessed that people in my life have compared me to people like Alicia Keys or Adele, or, you know, it was very like soulful vocal, big soulful vocal, and that was the vibe. And but I always felt like something was missing. I was like, you know, I was dancing around in my living room with like a broom when I was 6 years old, dancing to Britney. Like dancing to NSYNC, dancing to the Backstreet Boys, like living my best life, like Hillary Duff, Vanessa Carlton. I had my 2000s, my 90s thing. And then when I got older, I went through my emo phase. Like a proper person should. Really. I went through my emo phase and I was a huge Paramore fan and a Day to Remember. Like I and my brother, you know, he was into like crazy like math rock and metal. And he was listening to a ton of stuff too, and so that was like pretty inspiring also. But I went through my emo phase, and then I fell in love with 21 Pilots when I was in college, and they put out another album, and I just one of the things that I always really missed when I was in college was that I didn't get to be a rock star. I didn't feel like a rock star. I didn't get to do that. It turned into, I was really good at writing ballads, and everything was just about singing and playing a ballad on piano, which I'm never going to get rid of. I have a lot of music coming in 2023, so it'll be great. Subscribe. Follow me. My @ is.
We will put it on.
We got you. But I felt like I was constricting myself because I said, this is what other people told me that I was good at. This is what other people told me I was good at. This is what I have to continue. These are big names, and these are people in the industry, and like, this is what I've been told, this is what I have to be. In comes COVID. In comes all of the things that I'm learning. And even my, I have to give my producer all of the credit for this name, my producer, Corey Stearns, and roommate. He wanted to go by Nobodi as a producer. That was like where the name came from.
Oh, really? Okay.
He was like, I really want to go by Nobodi as a producer. I was like, that's sick, because he was working with other people,
Yeah,
and he's like, I need a cool name, a cool alias.
Yeah.
And he was also a big reason for why I was, moving into the spirituality in the first place. Like all the things that I was learning was because he was also going through a terrible time during COVID.
Oh my God.
And he was, bringing all this stuff up and like showing me all this stuff that he was learning. And I was like, wow, this is like very inspiring. And since we write a lot of our music together, it made sense that we were bringing these ideas to each other.
Without a doubt.
But he wanted to go by it. And then one day, I don't remember, we were in the kitchen, and I was very fortunate. I did a session with this girl, Claire, from Nashville.
Okay.
My friend Connor hooked us up. We went to college together, and he was like, hey, I got a friend coming out to LA. She wants to do a session. And we did a session together, and we ended up writing this song that is not out yet. Hopefully at the end of 2023. It's not the one that I have out now. But we
she already knew that those questions
was
coming.
It's not out yet. Hopefully at the end of 2023. It's one of my favorites. Still one of my favorites after all the ones I've written. But he hooked us up, and we did a session, and we wrote this song that was just so not Sammy Joe. It was not Sammy Joe, and I was like, this is fire. Like this is it. Like there's something about this. I was like, it felt good. It felt like I was stepping into what I was supposed to be doing the whole time.
Yes.
And I bring the song to my producer, and I'm like, hey, like, so we wrote this on keys, like it's really basic, here's the voice note, let's produce it. And he produced it, and he's like, it's still his favorite song too. It's my manager's favorite song. It's everybody's favorite song. Oh my gosh,
yes.
Watch, everybody hates it. Like,
no.
They're like, this is trash. This is trash compared to the other stuff. But everybody that I've showed the little clip to, it's been a fan favorite. So hopefully it does well. By the time we put it out at the end of the year. But it inspired like a whole new era of writing and a whole new thing for me.
Totally.
And me and my producer sitting in the kitchen. And he's like, what if you go by Nobodi? And I was like, I don't know, like, and he's like, well, think about it, like, think about everything we talked about. And there was just something about it. I was like, one of my least favorite things was having to identify as anything at all. And I was like, there's something really simple about being nobody. And so my hook line it's a mix of fully, and I'll admit it, fully copying 21 Pilots. They're a huge inspiration for me. They say at the end of their shows, we're 21 Pilots and so are you.
Oh, wow.
And it's a way to like bring their fans together, like to show that they're part of it. So it's partly that I say I'm Nobodi and so are you, but the bigger factor, the reason why I wanted to say it and why I like hashtag that and how I make it me and everyone is the fact that when I bring up the fact that by removing myself from an identity, I had never felt more free. And I only want that for everybody else.
Totally.
I want that for everybody else. And it's not like, I had gotten some comments like I shouldn't be identifying as gay or trans. And I'm like, no, you're, all of those things, go off. Like that's, like, I love it. Like that's what we want. I mean, the identification that you have of yourself, of your character.
Yeah.
I think that it's a really, it puts you in a box, especially when you're growing up. And it's the same issue, like, as much as we love our parents, or if you don't like your parents, that's fine too. That's fine too. Listen,
we have moments.
We all have, like I said, moments. But
love you, Mom.
Love you guys. But yeah, that idea that your parents put you into a box too. Your parents put you into a box because they see you as a kid.
Yeah.
And then it's like you are forever 10 years old. Or you get to be a teenager and you're forever 16. And it doesn't matter that I'm hitting my 20s. It doesn't matter that I'm getting close to 30. It doesn't matter what the deal is. It's, well, you were like this as a kid, so this is who you are. These are the things that you got shamed for as a kid, whether it was from family members, from adult figures in your life, from teachers, from school, from friends, from anything. Which, incoming now, incredible millennial gentle parenting, which I think is so cool. Like, the parenting is getting fired.
Yeah.
Like, this next generation of kids, they're going to take over the world. It's going to be fantastic. But I think that was a big thing for me, like, having to identify at all, both in the music and as a person. And it just I never felt so free, because I was like, I could do whatever I want. I could be whatever I want. I could write whatever I want. I could talk about whatever I want. And I'll still say that the theme is still, it's a lot about trauma and triumph. It's a lot about sitting with yourself. And my biggest problem, I guess, or my biggest hurdle that I've had to jump is my constant inner contemplation. The constant narrative I have going on in my head. Am I a good person?
Yeah.
Am I a bad person?
Yeah.
Am I bad for doing this?
Yeah.
Is this a boundary?
Yeah.
Is this not, am
Completely.
I being an asshole or is this a boundary?
Yeah.
Am I being over dramatic or am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Am I not being a good person or am I? And then in comes spirituality, and it fixed everything. I mean, I'm not fixed, that's for sure. But
We're perfectly
it
imperfect.
gave me perfectly imperfect, and it gives you the answer of it's okay to just be.
Totally.
It's okay to be.
Completely.
It's okay to be, and there's something about, you know, not identifying as anything as a musician.
Yeah.
That makes me feel like the happiest I've ever been. And after that song was written and the name changed, all of a sudden a million songs were written. And it's like all of a sudden the rut was gone. The idea that I had to be Sammy Joe and write a song like this or be like that or continue that narrative.
Yeah.
And a bunch of songs got written, upbeat songs got written, rock songs got written, ballads got written, but they all, what was so nice about all of them was that they all are Nobody. They all sound like Nobody.
Yeah.
There's still something cohesive there because it's my voice.
For sure.
And it's my life that I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
hopefully it relates to others, but that's where Nobody came from.
Totally.
That's the really long drawn out story.
That was a really short version.
I think a really short version. The long drawn out version of why I chose to become Nobody and why whenever I get fans, I always, you know, when I'm talking to people on TikTok or any of my socials, I say, I'm Nobody, but so are you.
Yeah.
I'm Nobody and so are you.
That's
they're part
so
of the journey.
dope.
Yeah.
I love that's so relatable, at least even to me in my journey kind of right now too, especially I mean the podcast started in COVID too, so I can also relate to that.
I forgot,
But like when I started the podcast, like I had come from comedy and just comedy. Like I even was just inching my way into like more acting stuff and all that. And so my podcast, when I started it, it really, my idea was like, oh, I'm a comedian. I don't want to do these Zoom shows and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so the podcast came about. But when I started the podcast, I didn't want to just be like funny on it. I wanted to inspire people. I wanted to be motivational because like that's kind of been my journey, especially in life. It's like, yeah, I'm this funny person on stage, but like I do so much personal development and trying to be a better person and all that stuff. Like, and I like to like spread that out there. But like comedians aren't talking about that shit a lot of times.
Yeah.
But then so I had a struggle. I'm like, do I just stop the podcast? What do I do? Because like people want to come see me to be funny, but like it's not all the time funny if I'm talking about like some real shit, you know?
Yeah.
And but like, so I had that mental like, how can I do both? And like whatever, feeling like I had to pick and choose.
Right.
And like there are ways to like be funny and still motivate people, but like it was a little struggle in like what I would do for an hour episode.
Right.
And like also now like I've been dancing more and all this stuff, and like some people
I've
see
seen
that.
that.
Yeah. But it's like I don't want to call myself a dancer because like I'm a comedian, you know, but like there's just these things that I keep putting myself
You're like,
in these,
this is what I am though.
Yeah.
But I have to be this.
Exactly.
This is what I was.
Exactly.
So it has to be that.
Yeah, totally. And how do I move like all these different things, and it's just I can totally relate, and just like letting go of all these labels and just being I've been just telling people kind of like I'm an artist in some way, like, you know what I mean, like just in the sense of like I'm on stage, I'm acting, I'm dancing, like there's other creative things that I want to do as well.
An entertainer.
Exactly. I don't have to necessarily be this one niche type of thing, and it's like I feel, and other people I'm sure even just outside of the industry, like if you become an accountant, does that mean you can't like take an improv class or do like, you know what I mean, those kind of things.
Yes, yeah.
Because I did just do an improv class, and one of the funniest people in there was this random lady who's an accountant. It was like, I'm just doing this for fun. And it's like, but and Kristen Wiig kind of started off like that. Like she didn't go into. I remember her telling a story, like she was in college and she went to school, I think, for journalism or something, but she had to do an improv class for like art form or humanities, something like that. But her improv teacher was just like, you gotta pursue this, you gotta do this,
like you're really good at this,
like you're really good. If she had said like, well, no, I'm just a journalist or whatever, you know what I mean?
I already decided that.
Exactly.
I already made that decision.
We wouldn't have bridesmaids and these crazy, like all these different things. But that's so relatable in the sense of like not having to just put yourself in this small box.
And it's hard though, because you know you're trying to create a fan base.
Totally.
And it's like, that's what the marketing is for, right?
Yeah,
like you still have
really.
to, you have to find your thing to be relatable,
Yes.
which is so
And
hard,
marketable.
and marketable. But I think that what is getting so cool, and I'm thanking TikTok for it. I mean, I'm thanking social media,
Yeah.
but I'm thanking TikTok for it, is that it's not necessarily how organized the marketing is. People vibe with people.
Really?
People
really,
vibe with the person.
Really.
If you're
So
up there
true.
and you're talking about one thing,
Yeah.
people are like, I just really like Gerard Cole.
Yeah.
I just like this guy. I like what he has to say. I like his vibe. I like
Yeah.
what he brings to the table. It's like there's so many artists. I mean, even an artist that I love, Queen Herbie, she incredible,
Yes.
so cool. She's doing a podcast now, and it's amazing. I'm like, she's a musician, but she was talking about the same thing, talking about passions and talking about all the stuff that she also enjoys. She's always talking about going on YouTube Academy, like how she loves to be on YouTube and like learn new things.
Yes.
She was like learning Reiki or something, and then like
Yes.
she's learning about spirituality and then stuff with the mind, and it goes into a lot of her music is about like mental health and like hyping herself up, and it's for the girls and the gays and those, and that's like her whole vibe, but it's really for everyone, and it's just like really cool.
Sorry, these dogs.
These dogs are
yeah,
barking.
they're like out
They want to be
there.
in. They're like,
Which is
"Wow."
crazy
They're like,
because for like months we haven't had problems with them, and now the last 2 weeks that I've been recording my episodes again,
They're
yappy.
They know.
They're so like, we just want to ruin
They're like,
Gerard's
I know
life.
you're filming. They're like, I know you're filming, and they're like, our voices have to be heard. We have something to say.
And I love my neighbors, so it's like, they only do it when they're not home too.
Right.
So like, they're probably at work.
They're probably
or
just
whatever.
like, where are my parents?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
But Queen Herbie, I love.
Queen Herbie's so good, but
Yes.
she does the same thing. Like, she's out here doing a podcast. She has a makeup line, and she's a musician, and she's doing all these other things, and she's into fashion. It's like, you
Yes.
could be more than one thing.
Totally.
It's really just about, what do you love?
Yeah.
Okay, now do that.
Yeah.
What do you love?
Yeah.
Do that. Do all of it.
Yeah.
You know, don't, and then the brand builds itself. The brand builds
It's so
itself because
true.
it's about you. It's about what are you
Yes.
bringing to the table? What's your vibe? What do
Exactly.
you like? And then there's billions of people on the planet. You'll find your audience. You'll find your niche. You know.
Yeah. Real
It
talk.
takes the pressure off.
Would you say? Well, I have a question because while you're talking about like your favorite song and the song you just released and stuff like that, like how do you choose which songs you're gonna put out? Because like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put my favorite song out first, maybe, but then maybe is it like you want to wait till it, like you probably have some kind of game plan.
There's
I
a
don't know,
right. It's like,
But,
there's a. It's all just, we're just out here making shit up as we go. Because let me tell you, you get on any social media, there's a million ways to market your music.
Totally.
Here's the best way. Here's what you want to avoid. Here's what you don't want to avoid. Here's what you should try. There's a new algorithm on TikTok. Try this, try this, try that.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. I'll say that it's a lot of trial and error. I did put out my first song, The Method, that I'm psyched about.
Which is like, we're going to be talking about it. Yes, of course.
I love it, and I'm so proud of it. And I
should be.
And I did a nice music video.
She like broke an ankle on it or something, right?
I
like...
broke I fractured my foot while filming.
Yes.
And we
and
finished
like you
it anyway.
continued, right?
Oh yeah,
like...
I had to. I was like, I put my money down. Like, I was like, I'm an independent artist. I'm not signed. Like, other people were not funding this. Like, I was like, broken foot or not, like, I'm out here.
Yeah.
We have the space. We're doing it. We're finishing it. But I also didn't know that it was broken. I was like, oh, I must have just like bruised it or twisted it or something. Like, no, it was fractured for sure. It was fractured for sure. But we finished it. It was done.
The show must go on.
The show must go on.
And they say break a leg. This bitch did.
Yeah, I did. This bitch did. I'm dead. Like, yeah. It was so funny. I'll never forget. Like, and I remember like the moment it happened. I still am editing currently a TikTok for like a thing for it about like breaking, because we have the footage.
Oh my goodness.
And you hear it sounds like a stick goes snap. Yeah, it's nasty.
Oh.
It's nasty. But it's so funny like hearing it and watching it. We were like, oh. And then I went to urgent care like the next day, and they were like, this is broken. And I was like, oh.
Are you sure?
Well, yeah, no, it's like fully fractured. It's like they said it was like a dancer's fracture. It was like right up on the top, right by my foot, like a little crack. Hilarious, painful, but we nailed it. But it was funny because I broke it because I did one of my dance moves in the wrong way.
Oh,
like I was
man.
doing a spin and I turned one way instead of the other.
Mm.
I was dancing in bare feet and I had like these little like ballerina like slips on the top to grip because I wanted to do the video in bare feet. But it was on like white concrete.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look, it looks like a soft floor. It was not. It was rock fucking hard.
Damn.
And I had the things on and I didn't stretch. I didn't prep. We woke up at like the crack of dawn and I like didn't do anything to prep. I was like, I gotta do this and get the extras and get coffee and like
Unless
get ready.
You're 17, you have to stretch.
Yeah, I'm not here like scoliosis and all. Like, I did not do
I know
what
you're
I
only
had to
19,
do.
but still.
Yeah, I was like, I'm 19. Like, I'm not even legal to drink that. Like, I'm literally a child. I'm a child. So sign me. But yes, I did. I don't remember how we got here. I was talking about the method. Yeah.
Yes.
Like I put the song out. How do I decide? How do I decide what songs are the best? So I wrote. There's a lot of songs, but I wrote the one that I love with Claire, and then all the other ones I wrote either by myself or with Corey. And what was happening was I was messing around, trying to rap. And I was like, I sound ridiculous. Because I'm a huge Queen Herbie fan.
Yes.
Huge Queen Herbie
and
fan.
she does it all.
And she does it
like,
all.
Literally. She started off as Carmen.
Which was like
people,
mostly singing pop, but she could do but she got famous. She got signed and got famous, and she got put on Ellen when they did Look at Me Now.
Yeah.
And she did like the rap, like the sing rap thing. It was so cool.
So good.
Still a legend, such a legend.
Really.
But she can really rap. Like she's got flow. She's got flow. And it's not that I can't do it. If you give me something to do, like I can rap. But it's not my bread and butter.
Yeah.
I do have very heavy R&B influences. I'm like a SZA fanatic.
Oh,
and the new album.
And this new album. Don't let's.
We gotta say that for the end. I on repeat.
Really,
like I
really.
way the rhythm.
This
and
is
the
why
flow.
I turn my volume down.
Yeah,
I'm just screaming.
You're like screaming. You have to be screaming. We have to be out here
It's so
screaming about
good.
SZA's new album.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Really.
A work of art, a masterpiece. The whole thing. Every song, top to bottom. I'm so happy that there's so many of them too. I'm like, she spoiled us.
I was nervous at first because I was like a little intimidated by how many songs, but I'm just like,
I'm down that thing every day. I listen to the whole album every day. I am all of SZA's streaming numbers. Like, it's literally just me from top to bottom.
You and my
I'm
roommate.
like, I'm like, Apple Music, Spotify. I'm like just trying to push it. But so incredible. Like it came out and just like it shook my world. But as much as I'm an emo kid at heart, I am a huge pop music lover, a huge R&B music lover. Like, but she's also a big inspiration for a lot of things. Same with Labyrinth. Like, I have a big, just like,
yeah.
I don't even
We're
know.
Gonna be at Coachella this year.
We gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go. I don't have any money, but we gotta go. If you guys stream the method, I can go to Coachella. Stream the method. Buy the song.
Up to you guys.
Subscribe. I'll put up a GoFundMe. So I can not so I can play Coachella, so I can just arrive.
Be there.
Just so I can enjoy it and be there.
Yeah.
But huge R&B influences, and I was messing around. Like I wrote like a whole thing out, and it was just one of the things that I had learned in college was I did like lyric writing classes, and one of the biggest things that we had was a rhyming dictionary. And one of the things they always used to talk about was Eminem has this rhyming dictionary. Like Eminem writes his raps like this.
Oh wow.
And it's like a lot of like masculine and feminine rhymes and family rhymes and what works best with what. And it was just something that I conquered in school. It was something that I was just great at. Like I'm great at it. Like it's just one of the things that just I learned it, I absorbed it, and it never went away.
Love that.
And it was a big thing for me. So I just started like rapping. So the method when I first wrote it was a rap. It was a rap
Wow.
all the way through, and it was like spoken.
Wow.
And I was like, this sounds dumb.
Really?
I was like, the rap sounds dumb.
Okay.
I do not like it. And then I'm sitting there, and then my producer was like, you got a great voice, kid. Like, sing it.
Use it.
Yeah. Sing it. Like, sing the melody. Because I was like, maybe I'll do a rap, and then I'll sing the chorus or something. But then it turned into just like fast, like rhythmic, like rap singing. It was more like that. It was more, there was a melody going the whole way.
Yeah.
And we started doing it, and I recorded it, and I was like,
this is it.
I was like, yo, that's it. Like this is it.
Fire.
And I wrote, I think that I wrote the song during COVID. It was like a couple of years old.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I wrote the song during COVID. I must have. Or no, that's not true. That's a lie. I fully lied to your face. I wrote it, I think. I must have written it I wrote it in 2020, at the end of 2021.
Okay.
I started writing it at the end of 2021. We hammered away at that song, produced it, and reproduced it, and re-recorded the vocals, and just, we beat that song to death.
Wow.
We beat that song to death for a year because I was terrified to like make this move.
Really?
I was scared to make the move, and we were like, it has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. It has to be this. And we had the song that I wrote with Claire. I was like, that's gonna be the one that comes out first. But then we loved it so much, and then we talked about it. Me and the crew were talking about it, and we're like, we want to try to get you a fan base first. Let's try to get people interested.
Yeah.
Before you put out what we think is the best song.
Yeah.
Before that happens.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's a great idea. And what the method is similar to some of the other ones, but it's also very different.
Oh, really?
Almost compared to the rest of them. I think that I do have a lot of like quick singing, and then for some of the ballads it's a lot more separated. There's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
You're still gonna listen to it and you're gonna go, that's Nobody. Like, it's all cohesive. But the method was a little bit of the odd one out, and what I liked about it was that it was something I had never heard anybody do before.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, obviously it has influences. Like, I'm not out here saying like I'm 100% unique. Like, nobody is. Like, what makes something unique is the fact that you already heard all this other stuff from other people, and then you made your own thing with it, which is dope.
Yes.
But
Beyonce's a good example of that, because she does use a lot of like samples and stuff like that too.
But then it becomes her own thing.
Exactly.
But it's like you have to use the inspiration.
I'm just always gonna bring Beyonce in something.
Well, you have to. You literally have to. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. Like, anytime we just bring up Beyonce like every second.
Well, she's got to be a guest at one point,
She
so I
will
gotta
be.
just like keep putting that
You
out
gotta.
there.
We're manifesting.
Yeah. Right. On her trip back from Dubai, I'm her first stop.
She's like, I saw this guy. He's got the best pillow I've ever seen. She's like, I have to sit next to that pillow. I have to be in the room for that pillow.
So sorry.
She will be though. She will be. No, I can see it. It'll happen.
We're putting it out there.
You have to visualize it. Visualize it, and it will be. And it will be.
Without a doubt.
I forgot what we were talking about. Beyonce.
But like how it, the thing about being unique is bringing all your influences, but making it your own and stuff like that.
So it was a song. It was a version of me that I had never done before. It was a type of song I had never written before, and I love it. It's my first.
Yeah.
It's my first baby. It's Nobody.
Really?
It's my first child. Is Nobody.
Yeah.
And it. I hammered away on TikTok for a long time. I still am hammering away. Aren't we all? But it's really cool to see.
Do you have a dance challenge yet?
I've had actually today. I saw this one girl. She did an interpretive dance to it, and it was
oh my god, that's
very
so sick.
emotional.
Yeah, it
was very emotional. You could see her. You could see the pain. I mean, like the method is, first of all, we wrote the song, and I didn't even know that it was going to be called The Method.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I had heard. I believe it was either an Alan Watts or a Ram Dass talk, and they were talking about like being trapped in the method, and I was like, oh, that's the title of this song.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote all the verses first. I wrote the vibe out, talking about being trapped in the method and the idea of it. I mean, a lot of it is up for interpretation. I generally don't like to like discuss like this is what the song is about and this is the only way that you could take it.
Yeah.
But being trapped in the method of like your own personal like self-help, or being trapped in the method of thinking that there's something wrong with you.
Yes, yeah, exactly that.
Thinking that there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
And I am all for therapy and books. I'm for it.
Yes.
But to a healthy degree.
For sure.
Because it's a money-making business.
Yeah.
And I'm out here like I've had therapists, and some of them have been dope. But it's there's a therapy is, I feel like in some cases, depending on your therapist, I think, and depending on your situation, it's not meant for you to be good to go and then bow out. Unlike certain things in spirituality, which are constant practices like meditation. I think that it's still nice to like go to therapy and talk about things, but I have a healthy amount of skepticism with it, like we should have with everything.
With
everything, even spirituality. I have skepticism about everything. I'm never gonna say I 100% believe this and I only do this and this is the answer to everything.
Yes.
Because then I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
If I fully believe anything, I'm an idiot. Like,
Totally.
no, if I'm fully like, this is the right way of doing anything, nobody knows what the right answer is.
Exactly.
So what I found personally is that whenever I've spoken to my friends or they're talking to me about going to therapy or they're just talking about their problem or even just myself, I'm constantly talking about the problem, then I'm the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I am the problem. The problem is everything. The problem is now my whole life. It's just that's what it is. It's again reinforcing.
Yeah.
Reinforcing.
Yeah.
I am my trauma.
Yeah.
I am all of these things that I suffered with. This is what, and I think it's tough for people because everybody's still trying to find who they are.
Yeah.
So when you're looking to therapy and you're looking to find your answer, you can't help but go, how did this start? Like, how did I was a kid once and I was fine.
Yeah.
I was a kid and I was laughing. I was a kid and I was just like, I was just out here doing whatever. When did I get so quiet?
Yeah.
When did I stop being, being funny and goofy?
Yeah.
When did I stop?
Yeah.
When did I get so socialized?
Totally.
To not act a certain way, and to not be a certain way. Like, what happened? So I get why people go back and they're in therapy and they're like, well, this happened as a kid and then this and this and this and that's great. And I started that way. And then spirituality kind of finished that chapter for me. I mean, not that I don't have tons of work to do. There's always work to be done.
No, real talk.
There's always work to be done. But I think that it put a lot of things into perspective of this happened. These things happened. But they're in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's the past tense. And it's not that I'm still not... Bless you.
Thank you.
It was a cough. It's not that I'm still not...
I'll take the blessing.
Yeah, take the blessing. Always take the blessing. I'm still, I still have trauma responses. I still have PTSD. I still have things that I'm working through. But having that, remembering that it's not the title of my book. It's not the title of my story.
Yeah.
It's not, it makes up a lot of things. But the more we're dipping our hands like in the past, the more we're living the past.
Totally.
And then it's just that.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working for me when I was trying to grow and to learn and to be and to say to myself, or maybe I'm not that. Maybe I'm not what, my parents had said about me in the past. Maybe I'm not this way. Because when you're a kid, you're also you believe your parents. You believe your parents.
Yeah.
You believe your friends. You believe, especially authority figures. You believe your teachers. You believe, I had been told a ton of times, like even in college, it was always a mix of. My songwriting teachers would be like, you could sing the phone book, Sam, but you got to work on your writing. It's not it. And then my voice teachers, because I had a raspy voice. I was born with vocal nodules. Like I was sick when I was born, like as a baby.
Wow.
I have video footage when I came out of the womb. I sounded like a gremlin. It was crazy. But my voice, my whole childhood was scratchy and messed up. And like even the doctor made a joke, and I'm like, I can't wait to say this on my Eat True Hollywood story. The doctor made a joke with my mom, and he was like, well, she'll never be a singer.
Oh my gosh.
And my thing is maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius. I'm like, you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yes,
I'm like an infant,
yeah.
like I'm like, fuck you, like to the doctor, like he even knew.
Totally.
But he was like, well, she'll never be a singer, like as a joke, like that, like that's for sure, because her voice is totally messed up. But it took speech therapy, and it took practicing, and it took learning how to use it the right way, and it took work. But I was singing my whole life. I was singing and performing and writing songs as like a child, like dumb songs, obviously, but doing that you are. But that would be a great example. She's not going to be a singer. Mm-hmm. She's raspy, and then I'm in college, right? And then it's my lyric teacher's telling me I could sing the phone book.
Yes.
And then my voice teacher's telling me that my voice is fucked.
Wow.
Like they're like, it's okay. But the voice teachers in my school, some of them were great. My personal voice teacher, Marcel, she dealt with a lot of people that were people that had vocal trauma and issues. So that was like her bread and butter. She was great. She taught me a lot about myself. But the other a lot of the other voice teachers, a lot of the other people, they hated my shit.
Wow.
They didn't like the rap. They didn't like the vibe. They were like, you have no range. And then, so I was like, the two things that I love the most, singing and songwriting. And on both ends of the spectrum, they told me that I was not it.
Wow.
And I'm like, those who can't do, teach. I'm just kidding. I'm I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
A lot of my
But
teachers
are
were
we?
fired. But I learned a lot. A lot of my teachers were
Yeah.
dope. I still had the teachers that loved me and they inspired me
Yeah.
and they said, you got it. Like, keep doing it. You got to keep going. But it's just with all of that. It's like if I sat and just was like, I'm not that great of a writer. And now I have the method out and people are freaking out about the lyrics.
Yeah.
I have the method out and people are freaking out about the voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it turns out I
You
can
have it
do both.
Yes, you
Turns
do.
out I had it the whole time.
Yeah.
And everybody's got something to say.
Totally.
Everyone's always gonna have something to
real
say.
talk.
And it's not even, it's not even vindictive. It's like, but people only know what they know.
Exactly.
People only know what they know. Your teachers only know what they know, what they've
Yeah.
experienced.
Yeah.
And I think that the best way to just be is to be nobody.
Really. No, it makes the most sense. Like, it just, all of that's so perfect because, like, once again, can totally relate in the sense of, like, I've already said I've done, like, a lot of personal development. And in that moment in time, for like, I'm always in it. At the same time, when I was, like, deeply, deeply looking at myself and other things, it was such a cycle of, like, I couldn't do anything without being like, well, is that a reaction to something? Or am I actually, like, do I just not want to do this? Or, like, am I giving up? Because like, there was one point especially where I was, like, torn between two things. And I was just like, I just don't want to do this. And I don't like it. And that's okay. And it's not because, like, I have commitment issues or this happened or da-da-da. It's like,
it's
I
you
just
have
don't
to
want to because I don't like
everything.
it. Yeah.
Everything is a dissection. Like, how do I be the healthiest version of myself?
Totally.
And it turns out the answer to being the healthiest version of yourself is by being yourself.
Exactly.
And that's it.
That's really it.
Get the t-shirt made. Like, get it made. You know?
Really.
Because it's like you're gonna hurt people. You're gonna hurt people whether you know if you're hurting people on purpose.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to look at yourself. You need to know if you're doing something on purpose. You need to be I think intention is still the biggest thing.
Yeah.
If you're out here doing things unintentionally, it's something maybe to look at, something to work on, but also maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe it just is the way it is. It's like not all energy, we're all energy, right? Not all energy is gonna vibe with other energy.
No,
There's nothing that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with that person. Or this thing, or this thing that you may want to do or not want to do, but it might just not be for you.
Totally.
You know? And it's just like, it takes the pressure off.
It really does.
It really does take the pressure off.
And, like, something you said earlier, too, about, like, just being really allowed, like, there was something a long time ago I got from a person that also was just, like, kind of separating your experiences from, like, feelings and stuff like that and, like, who you are. Because, like, I am sad or something like that. Like, we use that, like, languaging. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, you're not really sad as who you are, but you're experiencing sadness. You're experiencing sadness. Exactly. Yeah. And, like, so when I got that distinction, too, in languaging, it really supported, like, because, like, we all are, like, we can dictate kind of who we are. We know who we are and stuff like that. Like, I like to say I'm love, I'm light, all this stuff when I'm doing meditations and whatnot. And those are, like, empowering. But, like, when you're just, like, I am sad or, like, I am depressed, we use those things as, like, I am that. And it's like, you're not, though. You're not that. You know? You're Sam, I'm Gerard, I'm love. You know, all those things are innately who we are. But, like, you can experience sadness, you can experience depression. And, like, I don't know, it's just kind of one of those things with, like, the power of the I am thing, too. The power of the I am. The power of the language. Mm-hmm. The power of identifying yourself with things. Really? We shouldn't be doing that. No. We gotta not be doing that. But I'm so glad that you kind of mentioned earlier that you're, like, a fan of, like, pop and, like, other R&B and stuff like that. Because I wanted to, like, I have a few things here for you. I have some, like, lyrics. And I want to see, are you good with, like, lyrics? I mean, I made them kind of easy, though. Okay, cool. Like, action. Okay, if they're easy, you can, like, identify who the artist is. Okay, cool. So this is super, these are super fun. All of them, because this is going to be airing too in February, Black History, so they're all people of color, black artists that I'm, like, really love. You're like, so I only did white people. So this first one, the lyrics are, and all you have to do, I want to know if you can get the artist and the song title. Okay. But they're easy. Okay. I'm like, I can't be, as a white person, I can't be fucking this up in Black History Month. Like, don't mess it up. Okay. Don't mess it up. Okay. Black and blue, beat me till I'm numb. Tell the devil I said hey when you get back to where you're from. Oh my God. It's an older, none of them are, like, within the year, like, probably even, they're all, like, kind of early 2000s, I think. Actually, this one might be like 2015.
Okay.
Black,
it's so
black,
familiar.
black. It is. It
I'm
really
like,
is.
I'm like, but
black,
I'm like not
black,
hearing
black
the
and
melody.
blue. Beat me till I'm numb. Tell the devil I said hey when you get back to where you're from.
Oh my god. I know this song.
This person's last name is also a planet.
Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the one. Beat me till I'm numb.
Exactly.
Take,
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
See?
I was like, I know this song. It's also a planet. That's your song. I'm like, catch a grenade.
Yes, grenade.
Yes,
totally.
grenade. I was like, I know this song. Like, what? Oh my god. All right, off to a rough
All right,
start.
no.
We're getting.
This. Okay, now this one you'll get.
If I don't get it, if I don't get it after you said that, no. Okay.
I stopped the world, male or female, it make no difference.
Oh, Beyonce. I am Beyonce always.
Extra credit. This one's featuring somebody.
Oh, who did the track? Major Lazer. Well, Major Lazer made the track.
No,
right?
different song, but still same artist. I'll finish the lyric.
Which,
Yeah, this one's same. I stopped the world.
Oh, Nicki Minaj.
Yes.
Samantha. Nobody. I was like, no. Pretty on fleek.
Yes.
I was like, oh my god, I'm so.
So that was Feeling Myself.
I'm so. I'm like. I'm getting ready for a race.
Yeah, literally. And there's no prize, girl.
There's no prize. Okay.
There's no prize. Which I probably should do.
I don't know why I had to run the world, but I was like, that.
But no, it's kind of close because that was like it is the same
like a
vibe.
It's
Yeah.
a vibe. Cool.
All right. I got secrets. Can't leave Cancun. So take it off like you're home alone. You know, dancing in front of the mirror while you're on the phone.
Okay.
I didn't write the lyric, but the rest of it is, what? In front of the mirror while you're on the phone, talking to your best friend in the reflection, like, girl, my getting big.
Wait, I don't know if I know this one. Do
You
I?
do.
I feel like
This is an older song. I got secrets, can't leave Cancun. So take it off like you're home alone, you know, dancing in front of the mirror while you're on the phone. Like some, girl, I think my butt getting big.
Oh, it's Sir Mix-a-Lot.
No.
Wait, were you saying? Oh, it's not.
This person
I was like, that's not like Big Boss. That's not it. That's not it.
Same vibe kind of, but definitely not that. This person had a song with one of the girls in Destiny's Child.
Had a song with?
Yes.
Is it Missy Elliott? No.
No.
Am I close?
Mm-mm.
No. You're like, no, not even.
I haven't. Never mind. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, why do I like know?
It's getting.
Oh, it's getting hot. I was like, it's a rap, isn't it?
Yeah,
that
it's
part
a
is the
rap. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who did that song again?
Nelly.
Yeah. Bro.
I should have said this person always has a bandit on their face.
You were telling me, and I was like, no, button.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a rap though. It's like the rap.
When I wrote these, I was like, I think I'm making them too easy. I guess not.
I guess not. Not for me. I know this one though. Huh.
This one,
amazing.
yeah, I thought you did. You know this one. All right, this one I think is awesome. Well, I'm just gonna stop saying that. Now that it's raining more than ever. I didn't write more because I thought it would be too easy. Now that it's raining
more than ever.
Yes.
Umbrella, Rihanna.
Yes.
I was like, what? It's so funny when you just speak them.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I probably should sing them, but I'm not a singer.
But do you
or
know
rapper.
you're gonna give it away though? If you give it away,
It
like
would.
obviously if you sang them. It's so funny.
Now we have.
You're like, that's it. That's all
No, there's one more. I'm like, what did I write? If you got a big bag, let me search ya to find out how hard I got to work.
Missy Elliott. I was like, Missy Elliott.
Exactly. And I wrote, there's actually, when I was looking at the lyrics, they spelled that out, but I don't know how that is it. Like, yeah.
Maybe the way that they cut it.
Yeah.
Maybe the way that they probably cut the lyric
that's-
up. Like, they added the vocals so it sounded like cooler, I'm sure. And then put it in reverse.
But see, you knew most of them. I think only one really.
I
gave
lost
you
what?
credit
I
at
lost.
time.
I lost Nelly.
Nelly was the only one you really didn't get.
Sorry, Nelly. I know it though. I know it.
You did.
I
You
know
did.
It, I know
You
it.
like sang it. You definitely. So going back to like your journey as an artist, I think we kind of like mixed. We talked a little bit about some of these, but what would you say are some of your cool moments that you have turned into diamonds as an artist?
Cool moments.
Yeah. Maybe breaking a foot on set.
Breaking a foot. It was honestly like
that's
that.
not like a cool moment
It's
per se,
not-
but
You know, I just
don't
think
know.
that so many things. Honestly, Mercury was in retrograde. I think, I don't know, but I think that so many things were going wrong, and I think that the whole becoming Nobody was a cool moment, and I'm so happy with the way that it's turning out. But the whole process of getting there was a nightmare. The whole process of working on the songs, writing the songs. You know, there were great moments, obviously, like filming the music video was fun, but also like I did break my foot. I ended up having to spend way more money than I was supposed to, and you know, there was just a lot going on, like working with other people. You know, sometimes it's fantastic, sometimes it was a pain in my ass. Like,
totally,
it's just hard. You know, it's hard out here.
It's
not easy out here to be an artist. It's not easy to be out here and like do the thing, and it's also tough. I think that, you know, a cool moment for me most of 2022. A cool moment for most of 2022 was that I didn't, and I'm working on it still now, was trusting myself.
As like
Trusting
a
myself,
person, as an artist, or
trusting myself and trusting my vision, and not always looking to somebody else to be like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Totally.
Like, I just don't trust myself about a lot of things, and it could be a childhood trauma thing, you know, like most things are. But it's
That's 0 to
like,
8.
yeah, 0 to 8. Like, I'm like, but it's like I try to remind myself, like, you know, you wrote these songs for a reason.
Yeah,
you
totally.
already know what you want things to look like.
Yeah.
And it's not to say, you know, don't work with people.
Of course.
You have to work with people because other people inspire me on a daily basis.
Yeah, and we all have blind spots, so I think that sometimes
you're not gonna know
Yeah.
the best way to do everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I'm not working with anybody else. Like, it's just gonna be me. Like, I'm independent. Like, I don't have to do
But
this.
trusting that you're already like
trusting
capable,
that you
talented,
know what
like,
it is that you're doing. Trusting that you know what the vision is.
Yes.
Because the fact of the matter is nobody is gonna know the vision better than you do.
Yeah.
And nobody's gonna care about it more than you do.
Oh, that's
even if
facts.
they're working, even if they're getting paid, even if they're
Totally.
involved in
No,
it.
without a
It's
doubt.
not. It's still not. It's not their thing.
Yeah.
It's not their thing. And that was a big cool moment for me in 2022. I wasn't really trusting myself, and I was looking to others for like, is this a good idea? Like, or maybe it's not, or I don't know. But it's like, maybe it's not, but try it anyway.
Yeah,
do it anyway.
That's
Try it
the
anyway.
real,
Give it a
too.
go.
Really.
Like, really take the time to sit down and be with yourself and be like, how do I want this to be perceived by others? How do I want to, you know, how do I want this to be perceived by others? But also, how do I make it the most honest from my perspective?
Yeah.
Because that's the only way I'm going to be able to tell the truth as I know it.
Facts.
I just have to do
Yeah.
what I know.
Yeah.
That's all that I know.
Totally.
So that's how you got to do it. But that was a big coal moment. That's been, you know, and turning into a diamond. Like, the song came out. It was grueling. It was a grueling process, but the song came out.
Yeah.
And people are loving it, and you know, we're getting it on playlists, and it's still like in its lower numbers. So who knows? Maybe by the time this comes out, it'll be like, wow,
Hey.
go viral. But people are loving it. And there's a lot more music coming, and it's all about, you know, you got to put a lot of music out. You got to do it.
Facts.
I don't even think I ever answered your question about how I do the release strategy.
Kind of not really,
It's not-
but
The release strategy is as follows. The method came out. I wrote the method after I had written like maybe 5 other songs that are going to come out in the year. But what I liked about it was the fact that it was very unique, and
You
I liked
did say that.
I liked it that it was very unique, and I liked the fact that it was. I liked the fact that it was kind of weird. I like the fact that the concept was weird. I like the fact that it was like also very niche. Like the concept is like it's oddly very specific, but at the same time it's oddly very broad, which I like about it. I'm like, it's up for interpretation. And my TikTok followers have shown me that. The people that have shared it, you know, I'm getting people duetting videos, people making their own like
how's
lip
that
syncing
experience? Because like that's not a lot of older
surreal.
artists experience that. Well, maybe they do because you can put any song on TikTok.
As somebody
like,
who is
this
nobody,
interactiveness.
Literally,
now.
as somebody who's nobody and somebody who's an independent artist, it fills my heart. It fills my heart to see. And it's not even necessarily I'm like, yeah, like we're all broke out here and like we're all trying to make it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not looking to be like crazy famous, honestly. I kind of hope that I don't get like crazy famous. I still want to go outside. I still want to go outside.
That's the
you know, I think that maybe, but my goal is I want to be making money doing what I love. I want to be able to survive and I want to be comfortable.
Yes.
Which is getting harder and harder to do in America.
Especially in LA.
Especially in LA. Yeah. But I think that seeing, you know, it's exciting. It's exciting to have the validation.
Yeah.
That your art, people like it. It's
Yeah.
exciting to have that validation.
For sure.
But a step above that, to see that what I am creating became an outlet for other people.
Yeah.
That is, it's so incredibly surreal and it's humbling and it's incredibly emotional. Like I have a pretty, right now, I have a mostly, what my TikTok algorithm is showing me is that I have a mostly female, and it's actually rising in dudes, which is cool, but female and LGBTQ plus, AA plus. I think I missed a letter. Yeah,
I got you.
It's mostly that. And a lot of what was happening was when the song first came out, I was getting a lot of people duetting it, saying that they were talking about what it was like to transition and what it was like to transition or to come out of the closet, or people talking about their childhood trauma.
Yeah.
People saying that they were trapped in their own method of like constantly, you know, reinforcing what they thought was wrong with them.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just to see people respond, people from all over the world too, which is crazy. I honestly couldn't even put the feeling into words. What it's like to see people say, I had somebody write a YouTube, it was under a YouTube video, not the music video itself, but it's a comment underneath just the audio. Like the audio is up in like 2 different places on YouTube. There's 2 videos for audio. One of them that DistroKid popped on there for me, and then one of them that we put up ourselves. But I don't remember which one it's on, but it's the audio. And this woman talked about, she wrote like a good amount of sentences about how she was in an abusive relationship and she didn't know how to love herself. And she's like, I've been trapped in the method for a really long time, and it took nobody to get me out.
Wow.
I'm like gonna cry right now. I'm like thinking about it.
So yeah.
I'm like getting
But no, really, that,
like just I'm like getting choked up, like thinking about it. I'm like, that's a stranger.
Yeah.
That's a stranger. So if you think that nobody's gonna care about your art, fuck that. Make your art.
Yeah.
Make all of it. Because you have no idea.
Totally.
Who is gonna see it? And it could be one person. It could be 1,000 people. It could be millions of people. You could be famous, or it could be 5 people. It could be one person whose life you changed, and it's worth it. Really? It's worth it. That comment was and it was early on when the song came out. That comment was like, I gotta keep doing this.
Wow. I
gotta keep doing it. And I think that's also why a lot of people make music. I think in the beginning, you're like, I'm doing it for myself because this is what I'm good at. And I want to do what I'm good at. I want to do what feels good. Yeah. And writing music is an outlet. Writing music is my journal. It's my diary. But it turns into a whole other thing when your art is doing something for somebody else. It's like it's a game changer.
Yeah.
And it inspires me to keep going whenever I'm like, when I'm dealing with all of my coals. Mm-hmm. I'm like, they're really all diamonds. And that woman was a diamond. Wow. It was cold. I was like, oh my God, like, I'm so sick of this song. Like, I'm tired of how hard this has been. Yeah. And now I'm seeing all these comments, and I'm like that it was worth it. Yeah. Like every grueling moment was worth it, because now these people they're streaming the song, and it's giving them a sense of peace that somebody else understands. And sometimes you just need somebody else to get it, you know?
Totally.
It's cool.
Totally.
Lots of coals.
That's life. But that means you get more diamonds, so
You don't get the diamonds without the gold.
Really,
you don't
exactly.
Get it. You don't get
exactly.
it. And that's a big thing in spirituality. It's a huge thing. It's like, is anything even bad or good? Nothing is bad or good. It just is.
It really is.
It's just all going.
It's us as people that gives it meaning. Like
Yeah.
a lot. Like there's no good, bad, right, or wrong, and it's just the meaning that we put on things.
Absolutely.
So you also brought something for show and tell.
I brought something for show and tell. It might be a little cliche. This is my Nobodi mask.
I love this.
This is one. So nobody likes
So you have
to
a
wear. Oh, we're gonna get into it. I don't know how cute it looks right now. I normally have
You
buns
always
in my
look
hair, but
cute.
I actually cut my hair.
You did.
And I had really long hair when I used to put 2 buns in my hair, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it for my next single. But the hats are always reoccurring. So obviously I said I'm a huge 21 Pilots fan, and they do this in they do this in car radio.
Oh.
But what I liked, the thing that inspired the ski mask as a hat was, one, I thought that it looked dope. I was like, that's cool as hell.
It does.
But the other thing was this idea that I was like, when you watch the Method music video, a lot of it's up for interpretation. So I like to put the hat up. I like to put the ski mask up for interpretation, in the sense that in the beginning I was like, whenever I have the mask on, I'm Nobody. I'm gonna have the mask off, I go back to being Sam. But then I thought about it and I was like, actually, whenever I have the mask on, I might be Sam. When I have the mask on, maybe it's not that. Or maybe it is, or maybe it's both, or maybe it symbolizes absolutely nothing. Maybe it's nothing. But the video's up for interpretation, and I like that, you know, some of the ideas. Most of the ideas are not far off for what the vision was, but I like that people are coming up with their own narrative, because there's a storyline.
Yeah.
You got to make it for yourself. But the thing that I plan to do with the hats is every song gets a new color.
Wow.
Every song gets a new color.
So cool.
Every song gets a new color. I have a lot of ski masks in my closet.
Wow.
I have a lot of them.
Okay.
And also it's like hella comfortable too. It's really comfortable. It's really comfortable. But I liked there's a lot of people that do masks and like not showing their face. Boy with Uke is a dope, such a sick artist. Like, I want to open for him one day. He's so fire. But he has like the electric mask. He covers his face all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't do that. I don't do like and like Sia did that for a hot minute. Like she was
did,
hard. Sia
yeah.
also a huge inspiration of mine.
There's a country guy now, Orville Peck.
Oh yeah, he covers his face also.
Too, yeah.
And I think that's cool. I think a lot of people do that so that for privacy reasons.
Yeah, totally.
But it's also dope marketing.
Yeah,
like, it's cool.
really.
It's cool. But I think what the hat was for me was, in the beginning we were like, that might just look cool. But as time went on and we were coming up with the idea for the music video, I was like every song is gonna be a different color. And each color is gonna represent something different. And as you know, we build a fan base, we'll learn more and more about those little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
But what I liked about the ski mask was almost like getting to be whatever I wanted at any point in time. So pulling the ski mask down, I could be Nobody, and I could be hiding if I wanted to.
Yeah. I
could be doing that, or I could be pulling it up, and it could be because they're still seeing my face.
Yeah.
And in the video, we're doing the thing, and I'm out here struggling, and then in the chorus the mask comes down, and that's up for interpretation why it does. But every song, this is why it was my show and tell, you're gonna see a hat in every song. Every song, as far as until I get sick of the idea.
Okay.
Because I'm Nobody and I can do whatever the hell I want.
Real talk.
I can do whatever I want. But for right now, I'm feeling really good about the ski mask hat.
I love it.
It's dope, and I do hope to make merch too. I do want to make my own like Nobody hat.
Yes.
Because I've been getting masks, but most of the ski masks that you could get like online, they go all the way down to the neck, and I can't be rocking that because it's too hard to like put on and off.
Yeah.
So I'm like snipping all the bottoms off as well, like frayed.
But I like this look. I like the frayed look.
And in the beginning, it was just gonna be one color. I liked this color because when I put it next to blue, it was purple, and when I put it next to purple, it was blue.
Wow.
And I liked that because I was like, it's indefinable.
Yeah, really.
And I was like, and that's fire. That's dope. So it was really gonna be like a violet or like an indigo situation.
Yeah.
Was just gonna be Nobody's thing.
Okay.
I was just gonna wear the blue hat, and then I was like, nah, I'm putting myself in a box. I'm gonna get different colors. I like colors.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change it up because every song is very different and it deserves its own.
That's
It deserves its own
sick.
platform. But that was a big inspiration for the color for the Method, was that idea.
So dope.
I literally can't find anything that matches this, which is so funny. It looks normal. I don't know how it's gonna look on camera, but literally, I went to Joanne Fabrics. Like, I was out here looking for anything that would match this color.
Yeah.
And I literally couldn't do it.
Wow.
Even other ski masks online, I was like, I have to hit up like the people that make this. I don't even know. But I put it next to blue, and it's like bright purple.
Wow.
And I put it next to purple, and it's blue. And I was like, okay, like I don't.
Dress?
I don't know. I don't know. But
That's
this
a
was
cool thing, though.
But it's a vibe. I'm proud of the little ski mask. But I do hope to make a Nobodi ski mask. That honestly, I don't think it'll be able to be pulled down because I don't want people to cause chaos and be like nobody.
Yeah,
I'm like we're not out here trying to cause issues.
No.
We're out here to look cute.
So smart.
So it'll probably only be a hat.
Okay.
But it has the eye holes in it because it's cool.
That is.
And I did get to make for the music video. I did get to make a cartoon version of myself, which was sick.
I
do want to
that.
We're trying to make a cartoon for every single one.
Yeah.
And I do want the cartoons to interact.
Yeah.
So we'll see for the next one. But it was cool to see.
Animation's a lot.
I took a picture of myself and sent it to the animator. And it was like so cool to see him turn me into a cartoon.
Cute.
And I was like, yo, you got the hat right. You got everything right.
Yeah.
So the whole outfit.
Does this blue represent anything for you that you want to share?
This blue, like I said, initially it was like this was going to be the only color because it was an indefinable color and I couldn't find anything to match it. And I think that it was just supposed to be the intro to what Nobodi is, which is why we use this color for the first song and the first video. It was to show you that I also just vibe with blue. And one of my or blue purple or one of my friends. I went out with my friend Amy years ago. I should probably hit her up because this was like a big inspiration. She told me, she's like, I see colors when I see people. And she was like, you are always like indigo. She was like, every time I was around you, it was always something like, she was like, it's just like the vibe you give off. She's like, but it's like almost indefinable. Like I can't find where it is on the spectrum. And I always thought that was really cool.
Wow.
When you go between blue and purple, you can't find, it's like you're going through the other colors. Like you're in yellow and then you're kind of like, okay, well now it's like kind of green or it's kind of orange, but it's orange. It's like it's more of a definable trait. Yeah. Like it's still in its own box. But for some reason when you get down to the darker ones, when you get down to the darker stuff in your rainbow, it's like you're like, okay, but which one is that? Yeah. Where is that on its own spectrum? And then it's its own thing. Really? Which is pretty cool. That's what inspired this color specifically. And I love this color, but I have other colors and I'm excited to do a little mix of everything, but this one will always come back. This is the first baby. The first baby.
Do you know already what your next color will be?
I do.
Okay.
I think that should it be a surprise? Should be a surprise? Maybe it should be a surprise. Yes. I have my next color for my next song. Hopefully, it's in its final mixing stages. It's in its final mixing stages, but hopefully it will come out in February.
Oh really? Okay.
We're not doing a big fancy music video for that because I can't afford it.
They're expensive. I got to work on one year before last, and it's like so much.
Use your friends and DIY shit. Shit is possible to do yourself. We all have phones. Like
it's true, and they're great cameras now.
Great cameras. It does the vibe. It does the work. But I was like, I want to have one good thing of like really premium content. Yeah. That's it.
I love that. So I have one last question, but before I ask that, do you have anything you want to like share or say? You can drop socials, whatever you want to do, but
drop socials. Yeah. I could drop socials. I could drop socials.
It doesn't even have to be that, but like this is your hour. Psych is not.
This is my hour. Man, what do I have to say? Make your art. Make your art, no matter what it is. Make your art, and when I say I'm Nobodi and so are you, I really would love for anybody watching or listening that they embody that also, and there's also nothing wrong with you.
Facts.
There's nothing wrong with you, and you're okay. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing innately wrong with you. We all have stuff we got to work on, but you deserve love and happiness, and you deserve it just like the next person. Yeah. And love thy neighbor.
Yeah. Except for if their dogs are
Except for if their dogs are barking. Then absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh my god, no, they're such lovely people.
Dogs are cute. Dogs are cute. Such a cute.
Last question is, we've all heard the quote, be the change you wish to see in the world. What's the change you wish to see, and how are you going to be it?
It's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's heavy. Honestly, I hope that the change that I would like to see in the world is maybe a mix of two things. The first being community. We don't have community anymore, like not really. Like we have our own like tiny little communities within our friends, but I mean like on a broader, on a bigger scale. And also to question everything. I think that COVID brought a lot of things to light for a lot of people of all ages, but mostly young people. You know, millennial, Gen Z, you know, even younger. I don't know what the generation after this is.
X, maybe? I don't know.
Gen X is before millennial. I think it's Y? Generation Y?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Because they're like, why were we born? They're like, why are you doing this to me? Like, the planet is dying. Like, what do we do? Take care of the planet.
Yes.
Take care of the planet. But also that I think that the subject matter that I try to bring with the music, and what I'm going to try to bring with the music, is to open up the doors of questioning everything. Because we're told a lot of stuff. You're told a lot of things as a kid, whether it's societal or just stuff from your parents, family, whatever. Or anybody. Even we talked about teachers, even like anything in your life. I think it's good to question everything. I'm like, there's gonna be like a bullet that just like goes right in here.
No.
I start talking about like some real shit. But to question everything, because we don't know the answer. And the only answer that I could ever think of is to love and be love to others. Because I think that when you see some of the worst people in the world, it's because they lost themselves a long time ago. Because we were all kids once. And kids are the most enlightened beings.
Totally.
They are the purest and the most enlightened beings. Kids are not out here like, when they're like really small, it's only when they start getting socialized that you start to see some weird behavior, right? And I just think that, but it's also, you know, it's growth and everything, but but kids remind you, and they make you a little bit less jaded, I think. But to remember that everybody has an inner child, and that you're still that kid. You're still that kid. You're just walking around in bigger pants, and you're walking around with dumber problems. So quite honestly, like bigger problems, but maybe dumber problems.
For sure.
You know, but the goal is to get better problems, right? As we go. Oh, time's up. I'm just kidding. That was for my car. That's for my car. Time's up. And I think that with my music, I think that that's I'm gonna try to. The goal is to get people to see that they're not alone.
You're doing that, though.
That they're not alone. Like your feelings are valid. Your problems are valid, but your feelings are not you, and your problems are not you. You have so much to offer and so much to give, and there's nothing wrong with you. And in my music, that's what I'm going to try to do, and I think that there's a lot of spiritual elements. I do a lot of things that were inspired by a lot of Alan Watts talks as well, who I highly recommend anybody listen to. But it's looking at the bigger picture, because I think that sometimes we forget, and we put ourselves in our little box, and then we're trapped in it, and then we're like, okay, this is it. But it's like, look around, life is huge.
So huge.
We're literally floating on a rock, and we out here like, we're floating on a rock, and humans are fighting for human rights. You know, I was like, what's going on? What are we out here doing? But that's what I hope to inspire. Is to ask questions, and to show love, and to build community, and to have people see things, hopefully a little bit clearer for themselves. You know?
Totally.
That's the goal. I say as I like put a mask on my face, I'm like, don't look at me.